Ooh. Who would have thought it's in my head.
I was gonna let you finish, man.
You should finish.
I don't think you all want to hear me sing.
I think you owe the people.
Ooh, who would have thought I'd get you?
That's it. That's how we're gonna open it right there.
Yes.
Welcome to another episode of The Big and Short of It All. I'm sorry. I cut you. The Big
and Short of It All. Sorry, I had my spot.
As you can hear, well, you haven't said anything yet. Well, you did say something.
Yes, I did.
You did. I'm sorry.
We got peoples.
I second guessed myself. As you can hear and see.
Oh yeah, see. Hey.
We have a fellow third person added, well traveled, world traveled, recording artist, entrepreneur, all these great things. Wonderful man of God. You know, fearfully and wonderfully made. All of that.
Yeah.
Dexter. I'm not gonna say your last name.
Can I get an intro like that?
Are you on? All right. Also sitting to my left, we have the highly intelligent, analytical mind.
Oh man.
Of the century.
Okay, we can stop there.
Fresh off the market.
I don't.
Oh.
If you follow social media.
He's been scanned out, y'all.
Listen. Yes.
Because you know. When you be feeling blue,
oh my goodness,
one become two, two become one. Or
come on,
what did it say? Like
bars.
It don't matter.
Bars.
I was like, all right, then. You better have a coming out party, James.
I might have dipped back into the romantic side of myself. Yeah.
All right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Not mad at it.
Ain't nothing wrong with dipping into that romantic side. Clear the screen. Just kiss me.
Just be safe. Be safe, kids.
You want to talk about your newfound love? Or?
Nah, it's fine. I'm not. You know, we've been talking for a few weeks now, and we said that we're gonna keep things private. So that's about it.
Okay. So you gonna keep it private, but you made a post that isn't private.
We're not gonna talk about the specifics.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I got you. That makes sense. I was just curious. I didn't. Maybe I was misunderstanding the word private, but I didn't know. just saying, man. Anyways,
I kind of want to know more about your trip, Dexter. You said some things about some things, and I don't.
What?
I know. All right. You said that. Well, first of all, did anybody go with you that you don't want to know things, or did anybody not go with you that you don't want to know things?
is there anything about your trip that you don't want to talk about?
Thank you.
That's what he's trying to say.
Thank you.
I mean, no, I don't think so.
All right. So you said that from what I understood, you said it was kind of a disappointment.
No.
Okay, what did he say? He said something.
I think you're thinking about like the trip getting there was a disappointment. As far as I think like the delays and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I had a bad experience getting there.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
Yeah, lost it the whole day of travel. It was bad. Like I ended up in tears at the end of the night. Like it was it was frustration. It was just like, yeah, I'm over this. Just when I thought, okay, now we're over like everything's gonna be fine. Now it was always something, and like you couldn't have written this. So, no.
Was there like an activity that y'all didn't get to do because of that lost day?
Yes, but thankfully, for whatever reason, I still don't know why they did this, but they just reached out randomly like a day or two later. It was like, hey, would you like to reschedule? And I really wanted to do it, so. We decided to axe like spending a day in Tuscany and doing like wine tasting and go back to the Amalfi Coast, and that turned out to be the best day we had. Like it was freaking amazing. So I'm glad whatever happened that they decided to do it instead of just keeping the money and telling us SOL. You know, like it was freaking amazing.
So this is going to determine how our friendship goes from here.
Okay.
This is heavy. Okay.
Right.
Which would you put over which? Chicago or Italy?
In
I
what
think-
regard, though?
Right.
Listen, the Chicago trip did not. It's fine. I'm joking.
Oh, so you're talking about the trip, not just the sit, like just.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it was a joke.
All I say is this: I bet you it was well planned out, as opposed to somebody else planned it out. All right, that's shots towards me.
Okay, all right. Because I was gonna say, listen, I know. So you talk about it now.
Yeah.
So where exactly did you go, Dexter?
So I went to Italy.
Mm-hmm.
You want more specifics than that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so yeah, flew into Rome. Was supposed to go immediately to Naples, but that's what the day we lost. But we eventually made it back. So did Venice for a couple days. Stayed at this amazing private resort. Then went to Florence. And then spent a day in Cinque Terre, which is this region that a lot of people don't really know about, but it's
I don't think I've
amazingly
ever heard of that.
beautiful.
Can you spell it?
CINQUE space TERRE.
Okay.
It's like this coast with like 5 different towns, just on the mountain coast, like different color. It's just amazing. Then we went back to Naples, and then did the Amalfi Coast. So went through different villages on that coast. That was freaking amazing. And then went back to Rome and spent, the last few days there. So.
Obviously, there's more than just Paris. That's France. There's more than just Rome and Italy. So,
Yes.
but like I guess I've only really wanted to go to Venice, and then you just named a whole bunch of other places. And
Oh yeah, there's so much more to see. Venice was amazing. Yeah. But
Here's my question. For the people watching at home, can you tell them if the difference, or if there is a difference between like navigating like the streets in America versus navigation in Italy? Like is it like the street names?
Streets? No. I mean they have street names just like we do.
Was it like is it like easy, or was it like a
Yeah, I mean, you
learning curve?
just use GPS just like here. I mean, they have subways in Rome, just like in New York City. You just figure out what's closest to it. Their metro works the same way. High-speed rail is a thing there. We don't have that as much here. So, like, getting between cities, like, planes are cheap there, going from city to city. But if you don't do that, you can do trains. So we did a lot of train rides, which was cool. It's pretty cheap as well. So, yeah, I mean, their transportation they do a lot of things that just make sense over there.
Yeah.
That I feel
It's a
like
little more
that.
efficient.
Yes, in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Okay.
so, you get kind of stereotypes. I mean, obviously America has stereotypes, but stereotypes about how overseas they necessarily don't like Americans, or they have like pickpockets, stuff like that. Have you noticed? Did any stereotypes stand out to you when you were over there?
So, I mean, just to go off what you said, for sure there's definitely, I mean, that's mostly big touristy hotspots are going to be overrun with pickpockets. So that was a thing for sure. Like even in some train stations, they had regular announcements like, hey, be aware, there could be pickpockets here, So that was a thing. Everybody was pretty friendly. Like we didn't have any kind of issues with any person in the service industry, whether restaurants, hotels, anything like that. I don't think it was a thing about Americans, because I mean we're there to see the country, so most of the things we were there for were tourist things, and that's what they expect you to be. And typically, I think internationally, like American tourists they expect there to be a lot of American tourists and expect them to spend a lot of money. Now, there's also stereotypes of the American tourists and what they'll do and how they behave. I don't think necessarily black people get that label. We get another label, and are kind of exotic in some ways, because I did get a lot of stares, especially from kids, but even for adults as well. So You know, my aunt would like to say that it's because of my red beard. I don't think that was it.
I'm not saying that because I mean, I don't know. I don't find it, you know, like, I can't even think of the word.
I was going to say obscene, but that's not what I'm looking for. It's not weird.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
They do, I mean, they are interesting people, Italians. I will say that. I do want to know what was the best dish you had while you were over?
The best dish? I mean, I don't remember anything specific, but I did have some good pastas. Actually, no. There was we had a private tour guide driver for the Amalfi Coast. He was really knowledgeable about the region. He recommended a specific this family-owned restaurant. They owned like a hotel and everything at the top of this mountain in a village called Ravello. And so we went there. That was really good. I can't remember the name of the dish, but of course it was pasta.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really good.
Did you say the tour driver had something to do with the mafia?
No, he's knowledgeable of the Mafia Coast.
Amalfi Coast.
Amalfi Coast.
Yes.
Okay.
Amalfi, yes. But also there's this they had like I didn't know lemons were such a big thing there. Like they grow lemons and then make all these different types of things with them. Like there's this alcoholic beverage called limoncello. That everyone kept coming. Yeah, they have different versions of it. That mess was strong. Okay, and they kept trying to like make you taste it. All these different types of like. It's like I don't really drink like that. But I was okay with like a couple of them. But then they started getting like, like chill out, okay? I don't need to taste anymore. But no, I actually brought some back, so to share with like people at work that like to get hammered. So we'll do that. But there was also like they just made all these different types of like desserts and things with lemons. There was this one like frozen type thing. It was it's really simple: water, a little bit of sugar, and lemons. I don't really like stuff like natural stuff that have like pulp and stuff in it. I didn't even taste it. It was amazing.
I love pulp.
It was amazing.
You do?
I do. It's something extra.
No,
It's
I don't like the texture of it.
Yes, I need consistency. If I'm drinking, I don't need to be chewing too.
Yeah.
You don't have to chew it. You just drink it.
No.
Well, it's
no.
and
I'm gonna have to pick out of it. Like
it's not that you're chewing. It's like you go in for. You see a glass of this. I go in to drink it, and now I got this pulp coming at me. Like,
Do y'all not eat soup? Like soup
Not
ain't
really.
just
I
like
don't
liquid.
know.
I don't eat soup. I'm not a soup person.
At least we're consistent.
You're consistently getting the same feel down your throat when you're drinking something with pulp. It's consistent.
No, I don't want. Nope. I don't want chunks. I don't want none of. Nope.
I'm fine.
Okay. All right. I mean, I know I'm in the minority. I don't know.
Do you like crunchy peanut butter?
I do.
Of course you do.
Why? It's
All right, now that I do like.
Yeah.
I prefer the creamy, but I will eat crunchy.
No.
But crunch is not my first option. I prefer the creamy though.
This is also the guy that put mayonnaise on his pizza. I don't like lettuce though. It feels weird. So I can like I know like texture it matters.
It does.
I don't know.
Just like I like the taste of coconut, but I don't like the texture of coconut.
I don't get it. It's just I guess it's like pulp. It's like pulp without the liquid.
Hey man, we like what we like it. We don't like it. We don't like it. I did have one other Italian question. Italian. So, can you speak to? Because I know the world is the way it is, finance wise. As far as like why am I blanking on words today? The exchange rate, like money from American to Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Is it in your opinion? Has it? Because I know you've been to Italy before.
Mm-hmm.
Did it go up? Go down? Still the same?
No, it's a little better. I mean, the euro is still higher valued than the dollar, but I don't think it's as bad as it was when the first time I went. But yeah.
Okay. Don't want too bad of it. Like you still stuff still kind of seem not necessarily cheap, but like
I mean, once you translate it to euros and you're just thinking euros, it didn't seem like it was off. It's just a matter of recognizing, though. I mean, you're having to exchange, so you're getting a little less money than what you're pulling out, right? So if you pull out $200, you're not getting 200 euros.
Yeah.
In addition to whatever the exchange, person that's exchanging for you is charging, whether that's an actual venue or an ATM, because they're going to charge as well. So
How did you plan out all this stuff? Like, did you get a travel planner?
no. I do a lot of research. I'm constantly looking at flights and hotels and places to go and things like that. So I don't have a problem doing research and finding deals and finding options. So I wanted to do this entirely myself. I was initially started planning my own trip to go by myself. And I wanted to do what I wanted to do, see what I wanted to see. So I customized my own thing, figured out where I wanted to go, what I wanted to see there, and then started looking for hotels. Like, picked up a second job to get discounts on hotels, which really came in handy there, especially with us having to make decisions on the dime, right? Like, we couldn't get to our hotel the first night because we got delayed, and our bags got delayed, and we had to stay in Rome instead of going 2 hours to our hotel. Like, it was crazy. So, being in that type of position, it would have been a headache to have to deal with all that and still be trying to be on the phone with a third party. Because when you do go through a travel agent, you got to do everything with them. Yeah. You can't change anything. You can't go directly to whoever you book with. Yeah, no. So that would have been hell if we had did that. So, yeah, I'm glad I did it that way.
Okay. What's next on your travel list?
What is it? Maldives. Yes, Maldives.
That's right. I remember you saying that, yeah.
And you're probably not thinking about it now, but at what point is Dexter settling down? When does all this travel stuff?
What does settle down mean?
When does all this travel stuff end? Like, at some point, is it ever going to end?
No.
Oh, okay.
The question you should be asking is, at what point does Dexter invite a special person to travel with him?
I mean, it's just a matter of finding the right person, because the Maldives,
Well, what about? I know game night has traditionally been the college people, but I know this is off topic. Would you all be upset if somebody else joined?
You want to bring your business?
Exactly. And you gonna ask us in front of everybody like this?
Well, okay.
So if we wanted,
we can pause.
No, not that we do, but I'm just saying, like, if there was an issue, how would we answer honestly? And you just gonna spring it on us like that?
Just blink once for yes, blink twice for no. You don't have to look at the camera.
Well, we've already expressed that we're interested in meeting her. You're the one. We've asked questions. You're the one who said you want to be private. So of course she's welcome.
I'm just gonna slide this note into the.
Gotcha.
It says no, she can't come. Nah, she cool.
Are you gonna brief her on us before you bring her?
What do I need to brief?
That was gonna be my next question. What is it that you think she needs to know?
I mean,
But for the record, I've met her. You're the only one that hasn't met her.
Oh, okay.
So you would be the new person.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not what you're thinking.
Okay.
It is not what you're thinking.
What am I thinking?
That
He's trying not to say that it's not that I'm excluding you from meeting her.
Yes.
Okay.
That's not what's
it's just situations happen to where you have been the only one to have met her yet.
Okay.
Does that sound about right?
Okay.
We just happen to be at the same place. Yeah.
But you knew of her existence before the rest of the world knew her existence, though, right?
I didn't know they were official though.
When I got her number, we just happened to be in the same place.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Anyway, so will you be? I mean, just so she hasn't left that, will you be bringing anybody?
Probably not.
Okay. All right. Let's just check the subject. We can just delete all that stuff.
I can though if y'all want me to.
No, we don't want no. Just
It's not forced. I'm just saying, but like,
Yes.
it won't be a pity guess.
I don't know. Pass her through. We don't need none of those.
A woman for the night.
Yeah.
Nah, it wouldn't be.
I
that.
wouldn't do that.
It wouldn't be that. But then that. But then I would feel some type of way about like who would you?
I was
bring?
gonna say-
That's what I'm saying. I'm not because I'm not in that position with anybody, so I would not.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be a boo thing. I mean, you
Yeah,
remember that person that was going to come
Oh yeah,
over?
the friend that never came.
Yeah.
It could be that person.
I mean, my little brother is always around.
But he don't be one. I mean, that's fine.
I would be fine with him.
He didn't. He don't. You know, he came to one game night and he was like, "No, I'm just gonna chill in the room."
You know James wanted him to come because he still got a vendetta against him.
I think we're even. He wanted Screen Cheat, and I wanted Halo, so I think we're even.
But he still wanted something though.
Yeah, that's fine. And we never played Screen Cheat again. And it's not because I don't want to. I'm definitely willing to try some more. But it just happened to fall that way. Did y'all like the game?
It was cool.
I don't even quite remember what it is.
It's
By the name of it, I
It's a
think you
video
gotta
game.
watch somebody else to know where you are or
Yeah.
something. Okay. Yeah.
And you had like them odd. You had a whole bunch of odd weapons to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
You all different colors.
Supposedly it's up to 8 players. That's the reason to make that, and the fact that you can't really see anybody unless you look at their screen. So I'm trying to buy as many 8-player games as possible to justify how many controllers I have.
Okay.
Yeah, you do have quite a bit of few. You do have quite a bit of controllers that you don't use. Cause when you do bring them out.
I do. I swap when batteries run out. I do swap, so they all get used.
Okay. I can accept that.
I do want one more though, just to make it even.
One more controller?
Yeah, I know. I don't need it. I really.
So
don't.
let me ask you this question. You asking Dexter about settling down. Let me ask you this. It has nothing to do with settling down. Just to take the pressure, because I see the pressure on your face. Is there ever a point in James's life where video games don't take up that much of an importance?
You know what's funny is that I smelled smoke in my apartment, and I was on the phone with the lady, and she was like, "Are you scared? You gonna be okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll just shoot the window and jump out." And I told her like,
With the lady, are we talking about your lady?
yeah.
Okay.
That's just what I was assuming.
Okay.
But I was trying to figure out.
I just want to be clear.
I'm trying to figure out how the smoke ties into the video game.
Okay.
That's what I was waiting for.
Okay.
So I shouldn't even start this conversation because it's going to bring some other things into it. But I told her that I would prioritize my game system over other things that was in the apartment.
So
It doesn't matter. We can keep going.
I feel like that's an answer, but it's not an answer.
No, okay.
Because I feel like that's a situational answer. That's not necessarily saying that you are getting to a point where you give up video games. That's just you saying, if something happens, I'm okay with prioritizing this over my games. But if that doesn't happen, I'm still going to keep these games.
No, I think it demonstrates how much value he places in it. My question, based on that, does your partner need to accept how much value you place on your games in order for you to want to move forward with
That
it?
is a good question.
So I will answer that question in just a second. Just to let you all know how much video games do still mean things. The Xbox 360 was the last time I really was like playing video games for real. Like the Xbox One, I bought it, but I didn't really like certain games would catch me. Like I wasn't trying to get like the newest game because I just wanted to keep playing. So with the Xbox One, every now and then there'll be a game that catch my attention. With the Xbox Series X, every now and then a game that catch my attention. But for the most part, I don't really play them. But that being said,
Go ahead.
I still bought both of those games day one.
So is it safe to say that video games have become more of a hobby to you than a passion?
That is a good way to put it. Well, I wouldn't even call it a hobby because I mean sometimes I go weeks without even touching it through Xbox.
But it's still something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah, most definitely. I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy for so long right now. Yeah. Just haven't beat it. So as far as my partner accepting things, I touched the Xbox for the first time in weeks. It sounds so weird. Because she went out of town. And otherwise, I hadn't even been thinking about touching it. So it's almost like it's not even a factor. But she knows. She knows that I'm into it. She's seen all the controllers. She's seen all the setups and everything.
Do you feel like that's just because of the stage of the relationship you guys are in? Or do you feel like that would be...
It's a good question. That's a good question. She says she's a homebody. I'm a homebody. We've been out a lot. So I almost feel like us being out means that but if she is a homebody, then I would assume that when this phase ends, that we'd just be chilling at home. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
So is it like do you feel like her wanting to go out is like her trying to take you away from having the option to play it?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not
Just
at all.
asking, just curious. Did she watch these episodes, by the way?
And there was something that was said last time. I was like, oh, she don't need to hear that. But no, I don't. I'm hoping she never does.
Oh, so we can't. Okay, all right. Nothing. I'm not gonna say anything.
I mean, what's been said has been said. Like I'm pretty open with her, so I mean, she knows quite a bit. But I don't know. Just I'd rather not. What are you smiling about? What you got going on over there?
He's just happy that you're happy, man. You are a different James when you are happy.
I would like to know what's the difference.
You have a zeal about you.
Okay.
You have a different type of energy.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to old podcasts.
It's not that you don't have energy before, but it's just you can just feel that you're lighter.
It's an ease.
Hmm?
An ease.
Yeah.
An ease. Okay. Well, now I don't want to talk anymore. So I'm listening. Y'all go ahead.
What?
Don't shut
We're
down.
celebrating you, man.
Yeah, we're giving you your flowers while you yet live. That's probably not the best reference.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
I'm sorry. I went too far. But to Dexter's point, we are celebrating you, man. We're happy for you.
I appreciate it.
I mean, we didn't intend to make this episode about you and your girl, but
Yeah.
you put out there.
We aspired to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said we aspire to that? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
A nice,
Sometimes
healthy relationship.
So I do think, and I'm not saying that marriage is. I'm thinking about marriage now, but the friends that we have down south, more south, they said they're trying to figure out who would be the next person to get married, and
They're trying to figure that out.
Well, I haven't heard them say it, but I'm just thinking about that conversation.
I got you.
And I'd never really
Thought you would be the next one?
I didn't. Well, most definitely not. But I didn't think I was going to be in the running at all. Like, because conversations we had that I'm become disillusioned with love. So now it's like, am I going to be the next one?
I mean,
So
possibility.
you're saying marriage is on the table for you?
Okay, so listen, I've always wanted to. That's always been my goal to find somebody to settle down with. But I'm not thinking about marriage now.
I think
Sounds like you are.
I think what you're saying is it's not that you're thinking about marriage in the sense of like with her. It's just this relationship has revitalized your want to get married.
Exactly.
I'm the interpreter. I get it. Would she be an option marriage-wise?
I could see us.
From what you can see?
I could see us.
I mean, I'm not trying to force you to think about it. I'm just asking, like, is that something that you can see?
I can.
I expect you to say too soon. That's impressive.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because I've been single for so long that maybe I just got the anyway, can we talk about something else?
So,
Okay, James.
you feel like you're in the honeymoon phase still?
We can talk about other things.
This is the last question. Do you feel like you're still in that honeymoon phase?
I don't have to answer.
Okay, that's cool. I'm going to take that as a yes. Got it. Yes, they are.
Talking too much about stuff.
Again, I don't know how we got on the subject. I think because you brought it up, and then it just went down to the path. Because you started asking about game nights and other stuff.
That was it.
Yeah.
She's not coming. That's okay.
Okay. I mean, she doesn't have to come to this next one. You can work up to it.
No. It's the idea has been thrown out there, so I mean,
You can work up to it.
Oh, so you had already told her that she could come to a game night before you
I didn't
asked us if...
No, that's not what happened. I mentioned that we're having a game night, and she said that she would be interested.
So you gauged her interest level of the game night before actually asking us.
Can we talk about other things?
You keep bringing up new information, man. I was about to let it go, and then you brought up new information. New evidence has been presented, and I have to ask about it. Secret invasion.
Why are you so flustered about this?
Secret invasion.
Y'all poking me. That's what's going on.
We're not poking this.
Poking
Listen,
the problem.
nobody's attacking or poking. Or We're just asking questions. You can't expect to put out this information and us just be like, "That's cool."
We're excited about it.
I think Dexter's the one that kind of threw it out. He's the one that talked about freshly off the market.
It was just a common part of your introduction. Like, you wanted a nice, intro. I was celebrating what new information I knew about your life. That was it, you know?
Yeah,
just like he threw out the Italy thing. Then we had a whole conversation about that.
To my point, he did say off the market, but then we left it alone.
We did.
And then you came back and said, "Hey guys, how would you feel if I
brought
to game night?"
Right.
So you brought her back up.
Did.
We had left
That's
it alone.
exactly how it went.
Secret invasion.
Yep, because it sure was a secret that you kept really good. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
It's okay, man. She can invade the game night.
All right.
Well, since we and James have already kind of talked about Secret Invasion to a certain extent.
On the podcast? Mm-hmm. Oh, so I'm getting a stale topic. Okay, that's fine.
Well, we were more so doing episode, but we didn't do the final overall view.
So you want a final overall trash?
Okay, so let's do a little bit more specific. Were there any episodes that you did like? Any moments of the show you didn't like?
Nothing sticks out. I tried to just, as I watched it, just watch it for what it was. And just okay, it was nothing I can't wait to the next episode. I often forgot about it until I saw a commercial oh, that did have a new episode 3 days ago. I should probably get to that. It wasn't, yeah.
Okay, so
I just really don't care for this storyline or what it does for the MCU overall.
So let me ask you this then. Is there anything that could have been done to make it better, in your opinion? More episodes, different, whatever?
No, I just don't care for the storyline. Overall, what they did with it, even if they just added more episodes to do the same story, I don't care for it. It was dumb to me. And then the last episode did feel really rushed unnecessarily. It was just is that really all there is? Is that it? I don't know. I was left feeling unfulfilled.
So obviously, you all know how I feel. It don't feel like a very grandiose thing, even though they did say, Russia and there's millions of Skrulls here, but I don't know. You don't really get to that sense of grandeur. But I think the biggest thing about why I didn't care for it was, and it could be just me trying to put things on the show that wasn't there. It didn't have to be Maria Hill. She didn't have to come back, and no, I'm not salty about it. It's fine. But there was
you were wrong.
Yeah, that's fine. There's no depth to the show. None at all. Everybody thought Rhodey was a Skrull. Rhodey was a Skrull. There was nobody who you really was oh shoot, he was a Skrull. Nothing. It was just
no shock and awe.
It was just a show. It was like a placeholder to just get you from here to here.
Yeah.
Yeah. basically.
Yeah.
Well, like I've said about a couple episodes, but looking back at the entire show, I'm not as hard on it as y'all are. And the reason why I'm that way is because I am a big spy espionage fan. And so like the first couple episodes were good. I liked them, but then it just kind of went downhill.
What about the first episodes that you like?
Like, because it was setting up the whole thing, and like, you know, you don't know who to trust, and then you had these conversations between like, well, at that point, Rhodey and Sam Jackson about like, you know, how it is to be like having a black
Sam
man,
Jackson.
and, you know, she was like, you know, being a black man, wrestling power, and trying, you know, there's a whole bunch of different like dynamics, people having difficult conversations, talking about, you know, Nick Fury after the blip.
Speaking of Sam Jackson, we're going to go on break, and when we come back, possibly Sam Jackson versus Morgan Freeman.
So
All right,
like,
welcome back, guys.
So like I was saying, so that. But to me, the biggest part of the show that I liked was the love story between Nick Fury and Priscilla.
You said that was your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I think, and then the reason why I think I liked it was because of it was a different side to Nick Fury we never saw, and I like the acting between the two.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I think it was cool. Now, did I feel like I need the extra stuff around it? Probably not. But if it had been like a Nick Fury like romance show,
No,
a romantic comedy show, I'd be like,
WandaVision, Fury-Cilla.
I would watch that. And then you have Talos come in every now and then, just as the friend who pops in, hey Talos, or how you say his name.
Is he going to be the Agatha Harkness?
He's just been with the quirky neighbor that, you know, they've been friends for 20 plus years. I would have liked that better than what we got.
How far away, how long ago was WandaVision? Is that 2 years?
I don't know.
When did we go to Chicago?
I don't know.
Because it happened before Multiverse of Madness, and we saw Multiverse of Madness the first day we got to Chicago.
That's true. That's true.
We saw Multiverse of Madness the first day we saw it in Chicago?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, I felt
So it was like after we left the Airbnb, we went over to go watch it.
So obviously I didn't like the Priscilla thing because I thought that Nick Fury wouldn't date a Skrull, somebody that's not the alien. But I know we talked about it, and then it was a missed opportunity where, you know, she could have. I mean, eventually they did say that she was trying to not necessarily gain intelligence, but I think the show just could have been better. There could have been more elements or depth to it, and if she was feeding information, but that doesn't. I don't know. Just something.
It just didn't make sense to me. The
No.
whole thing, it just didn't make sense to the story. I feel like it was an attempt to add a new dimension to Nick Fury that didn't really pay off for me. I don't feel like it didn't feel authentic to me. I don't know. This new phase of new direction of the MCU. I'm like, I don't really need Nick Fury, this part of Nick Fury for that. Like, I don't really need this. Like,
I guess that's their way of retiring him. I mean, he kind of went on a. I mean, he was already there to begin at the show, so nothing's really. What has changed? What has this changed?
just that now that the girl has everybody's powers.
I'm about to say we now have the strongest mutant superhero, whatever you want to call her, in the MCU ever.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Until we get Rogue.
Well, Rogue has her limitations though. She can only have one power at a time.
That's true.
Yeah. But
well, yeah, unless she absorbs them completely. Because she absorbed.
Yeah, because I don't think she could always fly.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And strength. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gambit though. I'm excited about Gambit. I know you're excited.
It's all about Jubilee. I want to see somebody shoot some sparkles. I want somebody to see somebody shoot fireworks with their hands.
Yeah, you can get that. You can get that.
I don't know. I just don't. I just didn't really care for this because you create this scroll with all this power. Yet you have Adam.
For a lot.
Yeah, and he's super powered down. Why would you do that?
I don't think, you know, Amelia Clark. I mean, obviously I was wrong about Maria Hill, but I don't think Amelia Clark would really. I'm thinking they just probably just, hey, they found a new planet, they're gone.
But that would be crazy
That'd be
to
stupid
create.
to have all this. All these stories happen because they couldn't find one, and then all of a sudden, hey, I found a planet, y'all.
To have her out there just.
You know, where the incursions are happening. So I mean, they could just as easily, like, if two worlds are colliding, they could just say, "Hey, we found a way for the worlds not to collide, but you all can go on this Earth and leave us alone."
I heard somebody say this, and I kind of agree with it. One of the biggest loopholes that they had was because you know Thanos, after he did his thing, he went to this garden and they showed up and killed him. He was on the place all by himself. Could put all them scrolls right there.
I mean, yeah, Titan. Titan.
They all could have lived on that planet where he was. He's out there by himself, just tending to his plants.
He was.
I'm wondering. So I mean, he could have, because he had the stones at that moment, so he could have used the reality stone to make it, and then he destroyed the stones, so it wasn't necessarily always there.
Either way it go, good writing could have.
Yeah. I mean, it's not hard to just say, "Hey, we found a planet."
I think it was there though, because
You think that was Titan, where he lived?
no, it wasn't. I don't think it was.
I don't think it was Titan, but I think it was a real place where he was.
Because I think one of Gamora or the other one, I can't think of her name. I feel like one of them mentioned that he had said he wanted to go there after he finished his work, but I could be wrong. Okay. But even if that was the case and he created it, it was still there after everybody came back, so they easily could have just went there.
That's true.
Unless
it wasn't in our solar system. I mean, we might not have had the technology to get there.
They came from. They weren't in our solar system.
Earth? Did they come from our solar system?
He called all of them to Earth, scattered across the galaxy, across
That
the
don't
universe.
mean that gave us the technology to go.
We don't have to go. They go. They can't.
Okay, so I'm
You
not gonna say
have Captain Marvel who could.
I'm not gonna say the ships are like. Well, yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna
And
say
the Avengers got there, so clearly the technology exists.
We also have some of the smartest humans who can build technology to transport them there.
But have they? They haven't built it. Well, okay. There's a saber station.
Haven't had a need.
The Guardians of the Galaxy are out here going through wormholes.
Right, but that's space technology. We don't have that technology.
But they've been to Earth.
How else are we going to get there?
We don't need to get there. The Skrulls need to get there.
Yeah, okay. So as far as Earth, like Earth don't care about I'm not going to say they don't care about the Guardians of the Galaxy, but let's just say me and you existed in MCU. We don't know about the Guardians of the Galaxy. We just know about the Avengers. The Guardians of the Galaxy hasn't done anything on Earth.
They came and fought in the Battle of Earth.
They did.
What?
They fought in the Battle of Earth.
They did.
They did. Everybody fought in the Battle of Earth.
Okay, but that said. Okay, yeah, I don't have anything to say.
My point is, and Dexter's point is, where the humans don't need to go anywhere. We just need somebody who can go to space that can take the Skrulls who already came from space.
Who have the technology themselves, because they're the ones that need to go.
But to this planet.
Obviously, so if that was the case, then you don't need Nick Fury. If you have the technology, you can send a reconnaissance, whatever. You can send somebody out there.
That's what
exactly. They could have left.
The point I'm making is this whole time saying, "Oh, we want to find your home," and they never found anything. There's a whole planet that Thanos had,
which isn't necessarily close by. But you all say that.
But they weren't close by.
The Skrulls weren't on Earth. They were
scattered across the universe.
Okay. All right, yeah.
And Talos called them out to Earth.
I'm trying to make it make sense, and it's not working.
That's the whole point.
I've got nothing. All right.
Yeah.
It's all good, Jen. It's a plot hole. Let it be a plot hole.
Because what Nick Fury's going to
Saber?
Yeah, to negotiate with the Kree.
Oh yeah, to the Kree planet.
Yeah, like clearly they have a way of travel.
I will say that after the the Super Scroll fight, I was like, all right, I just started fast forward.
But yeah, when you were talking about the send off, like he was leaving, that's what he said he was going to do was to.
And he wanted to bring her with her because apparently she's some great. What do you call her?
He negotiator,
Yeah,
basically.
negotiator or something like
Diplomacy, that type thing.
Yeah, I was like, when did she do that?
I was just like, I really don't need this makeout session here. I don't.
You got it. You got that scroll kiss.
And it was just so awkward. Like he put his arm around her, they walk, and then they hold hands. I was just like, this is just so no.
It was definitely. Ooh, I don't say it was cringy, but it was definitely hard to watch. You still trying to make it make sense in your mind, ain't you?
No, I skip stuff. So.
And then this turn they took with the president, I was just.
Yeah, that was kind of.
I understand that.
How though?
Because I mean, he just almost died because of the scrolls.
But he had a scroll save his life too.
Right, and he didn't differentiate. He didn't talk to Nick Fury. Left.
He didn't even say, "Oh, well, there are some that are here to help, but the ones who aren't." He was saying, "Every single one of y'all."
Isn't that generally how movies and TV shows portray the governments? Like, oh, we're not even taking. We're just gonna what's the word? We're just gonna fight. We're not even thinking about diplomacy.
But I would get that, except for the fact that he has Nick Fury there. Like, they have a close personal relationship. And it just happens that he waits till Nick Fury leaves him. He saves his life, whatever happens behind the scenes. Then all of a sudden, he makes this hard right turn. And Nick Fury has to call him and threaten him.
Well, I mean, he do have cabinet. Just think about it realistically. You have people who are in your cabinet who, I mean, a president don't make decisions on his own. So you got people saying, well, this is what happened. We've learned this kind of intelligence. All this stuff has been going on under Nick Fury's, not his nose, because he's been on the station. But all this stuff has happened, so this is what we think you should do. Because if you do it this way, these kind of results will happen. But if you do it this way, at least you get...
We never saw it.
The reason I can't accept that is because what you did see was Rhodey having all of this huge influence over the president.
What was Rhodey's even? What was his?
That's why I was just like, he is making a whole lot of decisions, making a whole lot of calls, has a huge, like, all this access to the president, and is very influential over the president. Not the Joint Chiefs, not advisors.
He was talking down to everybody.
What?
Everybody.
How did Rhodey get this close to the president? He's military. It's supposed to be civilian type thing close to the president. Civilian control of the military. Yes.
That doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. Why would a civilian control military?
That's literally what the president is. Commander-in-chief. He's a civilian, but he's a commander-in-chief.
No,
so that yes.
No,
yes.
If you're in politics, you're the opposite of a civilian.
But if you're not a military, you're a civilian.
Right.
Anybody not in the military is a civilian.
And that's the whole point. So the
military, he's just in charge of the military.
Right.
I don't see it.
That's why he has a general that he has on his board, because the general is over the military. He just talks to them and they have, meetings about what to do.
If you're in the government,
that doesn't make you military.
Okay, I'm not saying military. There's a civilian is just regular people.
Civilian is just a term for anybody not in the military.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up because I don't see it that way. But if that's the definition, don't wait on me.
I want to see, man, because I could be wrong. I'm just telling you what What does it say? You want to read it out loud? Am I wrong? Am I right? What does it say, man? Just
a person not in the armed services or the police force.
My mom worked with Post, baby. My mom is a civilian that works on the military base. She works with the military, but she's not in the military, so she's a civilian.
Okay, all right. It's just I gotta get out of the mindset then. It's just weird to think of politicians as civilians. That doesn't make sense to me. But civilian, military. All right.
What did you think a civilian was?
Somebody just not in any kind of governmental position.
So in other words, in your opinion, a senator would not be a civilian.
Mm-hmm.
Would a post office worker be a civilian or no?
We can leave it alone.
I was just trying to, in what you were
The
thinking.
DMV workers,
right.
no, they're not civilians either.
Okay.
I'm just joking.
Okay. No, I mean, by what you were saying, that would be the case. That's why I
I
asked.
just gotta change my mindset, that's all.
Okay. Interesting.
It's all a learning process, right? Nah, I get it.
So, would you take out Secret Invasion completely, do without it, or would you change it?
There's a lot of things that, well, I do want to say that I'm excited about Loki season 2, but yeah, Secret Invasion doesn't seem to have any kind of lasting repercussions like we are, besides what's her name, the Super Skrull, whatever her name is. It don't seem like there's going to be any difference between where we were before and where we are after. Same thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I would keep it, but I would change it.
Except for the genocide that the president has ordered, also, on the Skrulls. Who knows what kind of consequences that'll have.
But whether we saw him declare that or not, like if the MCU doesn't address that ever again, it's not going to make, like, it doesn't matter.
I mean, but you can say that about anything. Like, what if they just leave this out? But why would they do something like that?
It doesn't seem like if I'm just saying if they never we saw them go shoot some people and if like the next movie, hey, we found a planet, then what does it matter? Like I don't see the unless they say that the Skrulls like there's just a civil war going on right now, then it doesn't mean anything.
I would keep it simply because I see what you're saying as far as like the ramifications don't really seem, like relevant, I guess is the right way to say it. But like, I feel like it sets up a lot of stuff. One, it set up the fact that, Skrulls are here and they've been doing their thing. It also set up the fact that, there's peace talks with the Kree, which that could go wrong, and then that could cause, civil war, that could cause a war to start back between them. It also set up the fact that you got a president who has it out for all Skrulls, which basically sets up Thunderbolt Ross becoming president down the line. So you got that coming up. So it sets up a lot of stuff.
Also, the contraption that gave the Skrulls powers is still out there. It didn't get destroyed.
Yeah.
So two things. Sentient shield, whatever. Anyway, so two of the things I feel like aren't. I forgot what I don't remember what you said already. Don't worry about it.
my overall point is, because I think you were saying, or either you or Dexter was saying that, basically it has no.
Right, and you named three things. That is the Thunderbolt Ross thing.
Thunderbolt Ross.
That's coming. I can agree
It
with
set
that.
up the Skrulls being here.
That already happened, so that doesn't matter.
But I'm saying it showed more like we already knew they were here, right? Mm-hmm. But now it shows that they've been invading government and controlling different things behind the scenes.
Oh, they did also show like that whole another room to Amelia Clark, right? With the whole another, like she didn't even know about how many people were down there, which it doesn't explain what those people.
I feel like it was
Mm-hmm.
a missing scene from that.
Yeah, like it doesn't explain who was that.
No.
What their purpose was.
They never talked about their room the whole show, and then all of a sudden this is just big vast room because all the other people were just in the standing up.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden there's a whole factory of just people laying on.
And it looked like nobody from the U.S. knew about it. It was just the MI6 lady that knew about it.
Yeah.
And she was making a side deal directly with the Skrulls without the Americans.
Right.
I wonder if she's experimenting on them. I mean, that could lead to, I don't want to say mutants or Inhumans, but like I was thinking.
It didn't seem like she was doing anything with them. It just seems that she knew about it because like somebody asked her like, well, why are these people here? Who are they? And she was basically, I think she said something like, this is how they
did it or something.
This is how they did it. Or this is how they gained there, or whatever. So it wasn't that she had anything to do with it. It was more so like she, like Dex was saying, she knew about it, or it seemed like she knew about the fact that they had these people, but she didn't do it. She didn't have no hand in it.
So it sounds like these are people that they just took over.
Probably so. And
right.
zoomed in on
but they didn't
white
explain
dude.
it. Like, what is happening with that? Like, Is this another plot of a whole another faction of Skrulls? Like, what's the deal?
They're turning them into vampires for Blade. There you go.
My biggest issue with the show is like, you spend this whole show of Gravik being like, I'm mad at Nick Fury because of this. And then you get this whole conversation between Gravik and Nick Fury at the end, but it wasn't Nick. So do we really know? Like, basically, there was no conclusion with that. It was like, Gravik was like, I'm mad at Nick. I'm mad at Nick. I want to talk to Nick. But then you finally get them talking, and it's not Nick. It's a Gaia.
It got some emotion out of him.
Which was super obvious, by the way. It was,
The whole time, I mean, he was just had this subdued performance, and I was like, oh, actually, this is finally something's happening.
But that's the whole point. It was like, I get what you're saying as far as it got the emotion out of him, but I wanted that scene between the real Nick and him, because I wanted them to actually come face to face and have this conversation that the whole show has been building up to. But it's like, nah, I'm gonna be at the hospital with old girl.
Did he kill her dad though? Like, I don't remember.
What do you mean? Her dad? Who?
Is he the person? I can't remember how
Did
her
Gravik
dad
kill her dad?
Mhm.
Talos? Yeah.
So I mean, that makes it better because she got to get revenge.
But that's the thing. I didn't care about her revenge.
And what happened with, like, why did he kill all those people that were, like, now that I think of,
All of them that attacked him?
No, it wasn't the people that attacked him. When Nick Fury got there was just people strewn all around that were dead. And they hadn't turned to Skrulls, now that I think about it. It was just humans all over the camp. You remember?
I thought they were Skrulls.
They hadn't turned to Skrulls.
Because I know there was a big group of them that attacked him, and he killed them.
Mm-hmm. But that was earlier in the show. At the end, it was nobody there. He was like, "Where is everybody?" He said, I forgot what he said. But it was like, because right before that, he had killed one guy that asked him why did he kill Nick Fury.
Yeah, Beto.
Yeah, and then that scene, you didn't have all these bodies strewn around. But when Nick Fury shows up, there's just bodies everywhere.
See how much this show meant to me. I started skipping it.
But that's what I'm saying. I was trying to give it a chance, and it didn't do it. Then they tried to make his wife seem like she just been a housewife, just been living a life all these years, but then all of a sudden she just automatically a spy, and she got all these guns, and she can take down like a whole team, SWAT team. Like, come on now.
I mean, even though I don't know how long Skrulls are supposed to live, but even though the human side of her looked old, maybe a Skrull, she's not old, and I mean, she can still have those skills. And as far as you know, she probably did go to like gun ranges and stuff on this. I don't know. I'm trying to make things. I'm always trying to make things work.
Well, plus she was also a spy for Nick because she was part of that group. At least it seems this way. That the part of the group of the initial Skrulls that Nick was using as like undercover spy. So she probably was some kind of covert person who had some skills. But of course, all we saw was hey, Priscilla, let's read this poem together. Did you get what you wanted out of life? To be called beloved here on the earth.
With the movie Beloved, was that Samuel Jackson?
And I think that was Danny Glover. Yeah, they all look alike.
It's
old black man.
It's been so long. Don't do that.
Old black man.
I mean, all those scenes between the two of them, I do not need this. Samuel Jackson, and no, we don't need that at all.
So I remember you said something last. I don't know what it was about.
I don't know either.
We took a little break.
It's James will chop it up and screw it up and flip it and bend it. You do all that. So
it's yours, nothing meal.
Okay. Normally we do a couple would you rathers.
Nope.
That can't work.
Oh, let me get decent for this camera. I forgot we on camera.
You down to do a couple?
Sure, I'm down.
You down to do a couple?
No. Yeah, of course.
Okay. You don't suck. Okay. You're doing too much now.
I know.
You're getting fidgety, James. Let's, I don't know. I will ask y'all final thoughts on this when I'm pulling everything up.
Okay.
I know we already talked about it.
Trash.
If you had to give a final score to Secret Invasion, what would you give it? Out of 5.
Because I watched the whole thing, I feel like, out of 5. Okay.
2.
I was gonna say 2.5 because I was gonna give it a 5. So if you double it or have it 2.5.
So 2.5? Mm-hmm. I give it a 3. That would be my final score. 3.
I think that means that you enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, like I said, I found more parts enjoyable than y'all did. So that's why I said I give it a 3.
Okay.
Do I feel like it was a great show? No, but I feel like my time was completely wasted.
I feel like it's better or worse than Miss Marvel.
Worse. Ms. Marvel's family was was a big part that I enjoyed about that show.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
plus, like it's a different culture. There's a hot. I like this whatever.
Okay.
We ain't have to go back down that road. All right. Would you rather fight against one human-sized woodpecker
Okay.
or fight against 3 alligators?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, they're regular sized alligators. Mm-hmm. Are they young alligators, adolescent, or adults?
It just says 3. I'm gonna say 3 adults.
I need to know my environment. Like,
That's exactly what I was saying. Am I in a pen? Is it open space? Like, I need conditions.
all right, so if I'm in a pen with the alligators, I'm taking the woodpecker. I feel like if I can just dodge the beak, I can wrestle it down to the ground. I'll be fine. Alligators, I mean, if I'm confined, I'm taking the woodpecker.
All right, let's do it this way. You're in the pen with the woodpecker, but you're in the swamp with the alligators. So you're in the water with them.
Yeah.
They're more deadly in the water than they are on land.
Yeah, I think I can survive a woodpecker, especially like if I have things to help, so I can get a big stick and knock it around or something.
I don't know.
It's a human-sized woodpecker.
And what type of human? Is it the average human height? Because I'm on the short side, so that means it would be taller than me.
You can go under his legs, tackle it.
Not that much. I ain't that short now.
You like dive I need you to be a little bit more faithful in your capabilities, man.
No,
So you just
I'm
keep taking
being
that
realistic. That doesn't sound feasible.
You getting taken out by alligators and woodpeckers?
In this scenario that he set up, it's pretty.
I'm taking the woodpecker.
That's what I'm talking. Yeah, I'm taking the woodpecker.
But the only reason, my reasoning is not the most sound. Mm-hmm. The only reason I'm gonna do the woodpecker is because it's 1 versus 3. I'm not saying, like Dexter, I'm guaranteed a win against either one of them, but I'd rather fight 1 rather than trying to fight 3.
Does the swamp have trees? Because I can climb in a tree.
If that's the case, you can hide. Well, okay. I don't know.
You tried.
You can use, like, if you're around trees, you can use some trees or something to hit the woodpecker too. Just pull it back.
But he said you're in a pen, so there's not a tree in the pen.
Well, what the hell is the woodpecker doing? When you say pen, I mean, is it like a bird? I'm thinking, I'm
like a bird coop.
Exactly. So there's going to be some kind of tree in there.
No, it's not.
I'm talking about like a birdhouse thing where the.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
What
the hell is a woodpecker doing in the house?
Hey man,
in the house.
Why is it adult size? That's what you need to be asking. You're trying to figure out why it's in there. Why is it adult size? All right, next one.
You didn't answer the question. Well,
I feel like
the audio
is going to be terrible because of rubbing against my neck. So I apologize in advance if it is, people.
That's all good, man.
Okay.
We'll just have to mic you up different the next time.
Okay.
We'll have Teresa take care of it.
You said who?
Teresa, she's our mic person.
Oh, okay. Is she real?
We fired the last two.
They don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a new person every show.
It is.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't in an inside joke. That's all I had to ask.
It's okay. So next one, would you rather be in a famous movie? I don't know why I struggle with that word. Or be on a popular TV show.
Famous movie, of course.
Why?
I feel like movies are more legendary than TV shows. Like I know, TV shows do make their rounds and people have, Game of Thrones or The Wire and stuff like that. But movies, like they have more of a place in people's hearts than TV shows.
I would argue, depending upon the TV show or the movie, that they're about the same.
I wouldn't agree. And depending on what the genre, like is it a sitcom? Is it like a comedy? Is it drama? Is it on like a network TV station? Is it on?
So if it's a popular TV show, let's say you picked a popular TV show. It's on a major network, and it's whatever genre you want it to be.
It's like the argument about people steal Jordans over LeBrons. Like people say when you're getting to know people, what's your favorite movie? And typically people don't, at least not one of the first questions. They don't ask what's your favorite TV show.
I do. I've also been asked that question as well.
Okay. I just been.
I think I would go with a movie. I think just the experience is probably of the people involved. It's a lot more different. It's not as frequent in the same way as a TV show. Like a TV show, I don't know how to articulate what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I would go with a movie.
When you were just talking, I was just thinking about all the people like Big Bang Theory. They made like millions of dollars per episode. So it depends. Like if you want to do money, then obviously
eventually you get to that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the reason with the strikes and everything too now. But me personally, I would probably do. I'd probably do a TV show.
I will say that TV shows do stick with. I don't know. I'm sticking with movie, but I'm trying to find reasons that a TV show would be appealing.
I feel like for me personally, I feel like, and this is again, my logic is not always going to be the most sound logic, which is the best thing I can come up with. I feel like with a TV show, especially if it's a popular TV show on a major network, and if I'm getting to pick my own kind of drama or my own type of TV show, I would pick a TV show to where I get to. Because I feel like with a movie, you have one character. That character may have an arc. You may have different like moments in that movie, or you may have different scenes that are great in that movie. But with a TV show, like each episode isn't the same, so you get to stretch different muscles maybe each episode to where like this episode I could be more comedic, or the next episode I could be more. I could deal with more struggle because of the plot line or whatever. I don't know. But I feel like I get to do more of a range in one thing as opposed to a movie where it's like, you probably can do that, but you also in a scene with other people. So, because it didn't say you were the star of the movie. It didn't say you were the star of the show either. It just said you're in it. So...
Successful does kind of limit things too. So if you have a successful show, then I would assume that you can't stray too much from what made you popular to begin with. So even though you say, what you can, that you can do different things with different episodes, if it's successful, more than likely it's probably not going to be very different from however many seasons you have. But
you can also be typecast in that movie too.
Yeah, and I mean, if a movie, and obviously it just said one movie, but if it is a successful movie, then I mean, there's potential for sequels, but that's not part of the question.
So let me ask you this question. I know this isn't part of it, but which would be more likely to continue, a TV show or a movie?
Nowadays, I don't know. I know
To
Netflix.
continue?
So like, okay, is it more likely for a popular TV show to get a season 2, or a movie that's famous to get a sequel? Like, which is more likely to happen?
I think you saying popular and famous. I think they're both going to. I know you're asking which one is more likely, but just based on the words you're using, both of them are definitely going to get a sequel. So I don't know. But if you're just asking just movies and TV shows in general, it seems like most TV shows, at least the ones I don't watch like cooking shows. I don't watch the like regular TV. You all probably do more than I do. But the shows that I guess I gravitate towards, they do typically have more than one season. So I would assume TV shows are easier.
I don't know. I think that's too bad of a question. There's a lot of factors that go into that, because I've seen popular quote unquote TV shows be canceled because of the amount of money it takes to produce them.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I don't know.
I know Swamp Thing was like the first couple episodes of it was great, and before they even finished the first season, it was like, yeah, we're canceling this.
They did it to Rings of Power, which I know it was up and down as far as like how many people liked it, but it was a very expensive show. And
Rings of Power on Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
It's been canceled?
But they got one season. That's it.
No, they didn't.
I was gonna say I didn't hear about it being canceled, but I do know
Rings of Power.
I heard they didn't want to make another season.
Wait, I'm thinking about something else. Like, yeah, I don't even know what the name of it is I'm thinking of.
It was on Amazon?
Yes. With the like 4 or 5 people that are like, yeah, I don't think that's. I'm thinking Wheel of Destiny or something like that.
Oh, that was a good show. I like that one.
New season comes out in a month or 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know it was up in the air for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah. I know you probably have.
Wheel of Time.
I know what you meant. That's one of those.
It's a
of
wheel.
something. It's a wheel of something. But it's like I've seen it. I just
Yeah, that.
All right.
Are we ever gonna get a new season of Invincible though?
they
got a trailer.
they've been
I did see that, but it's been so long since that trailer came out and nothing else since.
no, they dropped it.
Yeah, that's a new one that came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
This
think
is
it's either coming out in October or November, one of those.
They got an Adam Eve
episode.
episode out now. I haven't watched it, but
Me either. I'm just gonna wait for the show because I don't mess with Amazon Prime for real.
so you don't like The Boys?
That's about it. The Boys and Invincible is the only things I'm watching right now.
The Man in the High Castle is really good.
I've been wanting to watch that.
It's really good.
It's a long title. The Man in the what castle?
High Castle.
High Castle. Okay.
I tell you a show that I really liked. It's not on anymore though. But speaking of Rhodey, it's dang, I just lost the name of it just that quick.
Don Cheadle.
What is the name of the show?
Them was on Amazon Prime too, wasn't it?
I didn't finish it.
When you say that, I only think about this.
House of Lies. I'm sorry. It came to me. I had to get it out.
No, you're fine. You just started ringing for some reason. I think about that scary movie back in the day, which I had so much. I think it was either called Them or They, but I really wanted that movie to be good, and it was so bad.
What was it about?
It was if you have any kind of darkness, these monsters can come get you. So even when I was little, I was like, but there's levels of darkness. Like, how dark does it need to be for these monsters to come get you? Like that shadow right there. Can they pop out of that little shadow? It's just so weird.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's bad. You don't worry about it.
I feel like you're over analytical of it though.
When I was little, I wasn't like this, but it was. We'll watch it one day.
Have you guys discussed The Blackening?
Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
I haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it.
I say I loved it. The first time, I liked it. I did. The second time, I liked it more.
I haven't seen the Blackening or Across the Spider-Verse.
I was about to say, yep. I don't. This man went to see Barbie before he went to see Across the
Oh my
Spider-Verse.
god,
I liked it.
I bought a ticket to it, but something happened that I couldn't watch it.
I enjoyed it.
That happens quite a bit for you.
It does. It does. You know, I'm in demand. You know, what can I say?
Barbie bored me. It bored me.
If I see it, I'll see it. If I don't,
Yeah, it's not a movie that I'm like championing. Like, oh, everybody has to see it. But like, I enjoyed it. Then again, I went in. My expectation level was like low, and then I was like, this is a lot better than I thought it was gonna be.
oh, that's good. 'Cause I have no idea what it is or what even a concept of what it could be. Like,
I did go see Oppenheimer, so I'm sure we've all seen TikTok videos, right?
I mean,
I've seen TikTok videos before.
I've seen a
Yes.
TikTok video.
This movie moves just as fast as a TikTok video. It is like it has no room to breathe. It's just scene, line. They were just giving you so much.
They also give you naked people too, apparently.
Oh, right. I did talk to you about that.
A naked Florence Pugh.
She was naked a few times. I was like, okay, Florence, you don't have any kind of... okay.
Was it a nice nudity?
It was... So, what do you mean by nice?
Like, did you like what you saw? Or was it just kind of like,
I'm
her
not...
body's not all that great?
Okay, yeah, she's fine. She's alright. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see it again.
Wow.
That doesn't give me high hopes, James. I mean, I probably would like it more than you, but then again, I don't know. I don't know, James.
She was weird in the movie. It was weird.
That's all you got? She was weird?
I mean, do you want me to tell you what happened? Okay, so
No, you gotta tell me what happened, but
Okay,
like,
all right.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Weird is just a awkward way to leave it. Like, she was weird.
I'll say this. So like, I don't know if Oppenheimer's still alive. I walked out, and it wasn't because the movie was bad. It just like something happened in the movie. I went to use the bathroom, and I was like, okay, I don't really need to see the rest of the movie. And I just left. But so I don't know if he's still alive. You can call me ignorant, whatever it is. I don't know the choice for her to be how she was, if that's based on truth or if that's just a creative decision they decided to go. It was weird. It gave her a quirk. It gave her a personality. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think you sold Dexter.
I'm not invested in it whatsoever. So, next, would you rather?
Alright. Would you rather be extremely allergic to your favorite food or be forced to eat your least favorite food once a week?
Yeah, I'll be allergic. I'll be allergic to my favorite food.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you don't have to. I mean, there's other foods that are good as opposed to eating something that you don't like. Like I'd rather not eat something I don't like.
Yeah.
So y'all just both in agreement with that?
Yeah. Because it could get pretty bad.
I do not want to eat lettuce or rutabaga once a week.
Oh, is that just that? I'm thinking like chitterlings, liver, all those different types of things. Like, no, leave me out of it.
Okay.
Would you eat those things on a regular?
I do eat chitlins, but that's not what I was. Did you want to answer the question?
I'm gonna be allergic to my favorite food.
Okay, all right.
It wasn't a hard choice for me.
Does it make you feel better about eating?
Ooh.
By calling it chitterlings or chitlins or whatever you call it, instead of just being honest about the fact that it's pig intestines?
What's the question?
Does it make you feel better about eating it by calling it by that name rather than just, because people call it pig feet, pig ears, pig, all the stuff. But instead of pig, yes. Yeah. So instead of calling pig intestines, they call it chitterlings.
I mean, you have bacon, you have hamburgers, which isn't, there's a lot of things that isn't named.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah,
but
but
specifically,
He's just asking, does it make
those
you feel-
things aren't in pig intestines, though. Regardless of what they are, the pig intestines.
So does it make me feel better? That's a good question, because there are some things like I do not want to eat like chicken feet or things that specifically tell you where it's coming from, as opposed to like chicken breast or wings. Like those, I guess they're so common. I don't know, because I don't know how to. I can't say that it makes me feel better, but at the same time, when I hear so I ate chitlins. I liked them, and then I was told that they were pig intestines. So I don't know if maybe I was told they were pig intestines first, then maybe I wouldn't have eaten. I don't know. So when I hear it being called pig intestines, I don't care. Is what I'm trying to say.
You past that point where it matters to you now.
Exactly.
Before you ate them, did you get the smell? Have you smelt them?
I did not know that they had a smell because it was all done before.
So you've never been in a house where they're being clean.
I mean, I know how it is now.
You just know, but you've not experienced it.
Yeah, I've experienced it now.
Oh, okay.
Listen, it is rough.
Would you still eat them?
I do still eat them because it's if I've ate something before, just because I know what it is or I've smelled it now doesn't mean it doesn't take away the fact that I ate them before.
So let me ask you this question, James. When you eat chitlins, what else is on your plate besides chitlins? Like what else are you gonna eat with chitlins?
Greens, dressing. It's usually like a Thanksgiving thing. So anything Thanksgiving.
Is that the only time you will eat chitlins, or will you eat them like on a regular Tuesday?
Okay, so I have. The thing is that I was used to eating them because they were made by somebody in particular. I'll just say my grandma. But she only made them during times of holidays. So
Gotcha.
the times where I did eat them and they weren't holidays, they were made by somebody else. And those weren't very good.
Did you know this person well?
Yes.
Okay.
At some point, we decided to go to a store and get them they were already seasoned, which typically people don't season. At least I don't know if people season chitlins. You just put hot sauce on them.
I mean, they're naturally seasoned with.
You are really anti-chili.
Absolutely.
I used to like them when I was
Silly.
younger, but then again, I was, you young, you kind of naive to a certain point. So it's like, hey, here's the chitlins, eat it. I eat it. As I got older, I was like, I don't think I like this.
They're being clean though. They're clean. You clean
Well,
greens.
it had the smell of stuff wasn't what got me to not like it. I didn't like the way they tasted anymore. Like I never really, even when I ate them when I was young, it was never like I really liked them. It was more so like I ate them because it came with greens, dressing, and stuff like that.
Has anybody ever tried to fry chitlins?
Yes,
I want to see what that tastes like.
I've never had it, but I've heard of people doing it before.
Yeah, he is just going through it.
Hey man, chitlins it's
They're delicious.
It's a thing,
They're
man.
delicious with hot sauce.
I don't eat hot sauce.
I don't. I don't either.
Like it's to the point to where like let's say if my mom bought some chicken, let's say we bought like a chicken box from KFC, and I'm eating my chicken and she has like a piece of chicken left over. She's like, "Hey, do you want it?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll take it." And like, "Oh, if it's hot sauce on it, I don't want it. I'm good."
Well, no,
I don't eat hot sauce.
all my cousins when I grew up with, they put hot sauce on everything.
I don't put it on anything.
And chitlins was the only thing. And then when I moved to like two apartments ago, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try hot sauce. So I bought hot sauce that like honey hot sauce. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I was putting it on things, and I won't say everything. So I had my little moments. I was like, I'm putting hot sauce on stuff, but I'm past that again. I'm not a hot sauce person. Oh, I take that back. So Five Guys. If you have not had a burger with hot sauce at Five Guys, I recommend it. It is so good.
I'm fine.
Not even gonna try it though.
Hard
I don't like
pass.
the taste of hot sauce.
Hard pass. I don't. It's not even a flavor. I don't even get it.
Okay.
What about pepper? Like the pepper sauce?
The pepper sauce.
Well, you know how like the jar of peppers. It's like the liquid, and It's not
Yeah.
technically that hot sauce, which is like
Yeah,
a
I've never
clear-
tried that, but I think I know what you're talking about. I've never tried it though, but I like peppers, so you know.
I'm just not a hot sauce person. Like I will eat something that has hot sauce cooked in it because obviously I can't take it out.
Like a Five Guys burger.
The way you said it
good.
does not sound like it's cooked in. It's like just.
I don't even like the
Sprinkle
smell
on
of
top.
hot sauce, to be honest.
I don't like it either.
All right, we ending.
I've often thought people would take my black card because I don't eat hot sauce.
That's how I feel about me and watermelon.
You don't like watermelon? It's all good, James. I mean, watermelon is okay. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy it, but apparently you don't.
You don't have that much of a taste.
You've had bad watermelon. To say that.
I must say, I have had
'Cause
so
that
much
is
watermelon
insane.
that tastes great.
Like I've had watermelon, you can taste the taste, but as opposed to other fruit where like oranges or grapes, like you get a taste. Watermelon is just like, we'll give you a little bit of this.
Yeah,
what's the
you've had
point?
bad watermelon.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to know how to pick watermelon. You have to get it the right season, right time. Yeah. You just had bad watermelon.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, James.
Okay.
What is it? What is this sprinkler taste that you get? That it like? What does it taste like?
The watermelon taste, I can't describe it as anything else. Like it tastes like watermelon, but it's very faint. Like, you know, you put a sprinkle of sugar and I don't know, milk or something. You don't really taste it.
Okay.
All the judging here. Listen, okay, you can find me on Instagram, HAPPEE
That's
period
a
underscore
judging.
period MILOS. You can find me on Twitter, HAPPY underscore LOS.
You can find me in this. No,
That's all good, James. You can find me on Instagram at DA_bear29. We also have a page of the podcast, Big and Short of It All.
We're also on TikTok.
Big and Short of It All.
It's just big and short.
I don't know.
Yeah, just you get there.
I'm still salty about the TikTok thing. Did I tell you about the TikTok thing?
no.
So we had a TikTok page for the show, right?
Okay.
Doing well. Probably two, three followers a day, right? Hundreds of likes.
Okay.
Copyright. Took it down. And we start all over again.
What violation did you?
Comparing to some of the videos we posted, they was like, nope, can't post those videos. Even though when you go to post a video, it has this copyright checker thing. So you upload the video, it'll tell you, oh, this video is cleared. Then they come back 7 months later. Oh, this video you posted back here 7 months ago? Copyright.
What was being included in flag though? What was being flagged?
Just movie clips.
Just yeah.
Oh, actual video movie. Gotcha.
So just got to a certain point. It was like, well, we're just gonna shut your page down. So we start a whole nother page.